My name is Yujian Tang. Right now, I'm a developer advocate at Zillis. I'm actually drinking coffee with milk right now, but when I go to coffee shops, my favorite thing to order is 2 shots of espresso with sparkling water over ice and a little bit of cream. Yeah, I think that at the heart of machine learning models in general, and like why is it so hard to retrain one of these models, why you have to show so many examples, is that large language models are still neural nets. They're all statistical models, right? They're all using they're initialized with some sort of weights. They're given this data, and the data really, this is why they call them training neural networks, right? It adapts to the data. And so when a neural network, for example, I think the point that you brought up about having to show a lot of examples of the queen is dead is like a interesting point, because we as humans, like we hear, oh, the Queen of England, she's passed. We kind of immediately are like, okay, she's gone. I think that's because, I guess this is a bit more philosophical, but like humans kind of have this like inherent built-in maybe feeling or knowledge of like time and like death. And machine learning models don't really, I don't think they fully grasp the human mortality.
Yeah.
And so we as humans, we hear that and we're like, okay, that's fine. But you tell the language model, and it's a statistical model. So it says, well, based on my data, here's 3 million points to say the queen is alive, and here's one that says the queen is dead. So I think the queen is alive. And like the whole like fine tuning thing, this is the problem with fine tuning is if something like that is a major update, or if Microsoft buys OpenAI or some like major update like that, it's going to need a lot of examples. And that's why the whole like vector database thing is interesting, right? It's like why you can have this kind of like data cache, data store that just sits in between the user and the LLM. And really what you use the LLM for is just understanding what the user is saying, to parse the question, and to reformat the query or reformat the response in a way that makes sense to the user in like a conversational kind of like sense, right? You want it to be like a chatbot. So I wouldn't be surprised if really what we end up seeing as like the LLM stack is just that we'll have some sort of framework that it's like very easy to switch out these language models. Because is ChatGPT 3 a lot better than ChatGPT 2? Yes. Is ChatGPT 4 a lot better than ChatGPT 3? Yes. But is it something that we can really tell the difference of when it comes to most like enterprise use cases? I don't think so. I think that like if you have a chatbot that you want to just chat naturally with, maybe ChatGPT 4 outperforms ChatGPT 3 by a lot. But in terms of like, for like most enterprise scale use cases, what are people going to be doing? They're going to be asking questions about some of the data. They just want it to be able to formulate some sort of chatbot type response that makes sense, like full sentences, paragraphs, and 3.5 and 3 can really do this. And Vicuna can do this, and like Llama can do this. And I think most of the open source models have reached the point where if you get them right, if you use them correctly, they do pretty much match like 3 or 3.5. And there's been a lot of research papers around this. But one thing to say here is that also it is difficult to judge how good a large language model is, because there's no quantitative like metrics for it. It's all qualitative. It's all, oh, I'm reading this sentence here. Does this make sense to me? Like that's pretty much all there is to it. So I think that I think that there will be more like small language models, but it is interesting to see there's a lot of this new like language model development. And I really do think that having a vector database and the LLM stack is going to be pretty integral. Like anybody who's kind of building this stuff into the future is probably going to be using some sort of vector store.